All right, well, the first one's gonna be probably, well, two-stage ditch for the town of Dyer. Thomas is online here. And basically, you guys had funded a two-stage ditch over by the hospital. They finished it. They're looking to expand the two-stage ditch to see if would there be any benefit further down the line? If you remember, there was some very little benefit south of or north of 30, but now they want to take it, and I'll let Thomas speak to it, but they want to take it further behind the town hall of Dyer and go all the way through to Main Street.
All right, so this town of Dyer, the two-stage channel for the Hart ditch, just in engineering, as for.
34,150.
Much.
I can beat your cheaters. So Thomas, if you want, I don't know, can we get you? Can we got
Sure.
you there?
Can I was trying to share my screen.
Yeah.
You got that?
Yeah.
So no.
Good.
Oh, sorry, you guys are gonna get messed up on that one. It's the joy of, we just have to do some moving of seats really quick here because
Okay.
our setup, but we'll get there.
All right, we're ready, let's go.
Okay. I apologize for not being there in person, but I just want to show you a little bit of what was done. Reason we're trying to do this is there's been several flooding significant events, including 1990, 2007, 2008, with lots of damages. We did the one that we talked about near the hospital, try and help the hospital out and around the town hall and a lot of residential areas. And that really saved the hospital in the future, gave them the protection they needed. This cooperative effort with your contribution, as well as the surveyor's office, the hospital, and highway department, and the town of Dyer. To kind of give you a summary of it, there was $600,000 committed by the Little Cal for that project, which was about 3.3 million. So here's an essence of what it was. The top picture is top cross section is what the banks look like. The pink area is what we try and excavate out to create a two-stage ditch to create areas on the banks that looked like this before, unstabilized, and try and do some water quality benefits, sediment reduction, etc. throughout that stretch. There's also environmental benefits from it and educational. In this case, it was 2 blocks from the middle school, and we put up signage and a walking path. And so that project was done. Appreciate your contribution. We did some neat things on there. This is what it looked like in March of 2022 after they had taken down all the trees. But we actually saved the trees for last so that a lot of those could be used, the root wads. You see that they were taken down and stored on site. And then they were installed in the banks. So instead of just riprap, we have places where we put in the root wads. That picture was west of Hart Street. Now we're looking east of Hart Street, back at Hart Street. They worked all the way around, put more root wads in. And this kind of shows you by July, they had gotten all the banks done, and they excavated large portions of the overbank, and grass is starting to grow. The banks were stabilized. Vegetation was taking off. And then here's just the conclusion. September 2022, many trees and shrubs were planted, and everything's growing in now. We look forward to seeing it this summer after full vegetation. The aerial's not working. So we also put up signage so that the people can understand what we did, why we did it. There'll be those signs have been ordered and they'll be installed in about a month. So they had a lot of benefits to it. And because of the success of this, we want to ask if we can continue conceptually study what would be the benefit of continuing this stretch through Dyer, as Dan mentioned, up to Main Street. And we identified this, the picture on the left is a map of all the pink areas where we have potential locations that we think we can excavate. The areas in yellow are town-owned. There's other stretches where there's certainly the drainage board easement, the 75-foot easement along there. And there's a long stretch along the Briar Ridge Golf Course that would benefit them by creating more storage. And so this study would allow us to look at those potential benefits to see where and what would be most beneficial. One of the things we did not have in here was we said no recreational benefit, but actually the town has talked about, because there's a site that has been very challenged to be developed because of wetlands. we may look at putting a canoe launch in there so that people could kayak the portions of Dyer Hart ditch. So that's the overall plan, is to study this and come back with the answer as far as what the benefits are of expanding the two-stage ditch up to Main Street. Any questions?
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. And I appreciate the update of what happened initially. It makes the process starting from the state line, moving north towards the river, and how this process is working, Thomas. So that looks like it's moving along as planned, no doubt.
Yes, correct.
Tentatively, our schedule is to go meet in Dyer in August. So we can go take a look at it.
It'd be good time after some summer growth.
Chairman, do we get over the doctor questions? Do we have time to ask, or do you want to just keep going?
No, you have questions to ask. I mean, this is just for, remember, just for doing the engineering study.
Right. Thomas, Commissioner Rodnick here, do you have an idea of what, I'm supposing you have an idea of really where you might be headed with a study. You just have to do some calculations to get the answers. Do you have a range, a ballpark range on what the possible final cost for building this would be?
I don't, because it really depends on where it shows it's beneficial. You know, if we had as much as about 0.9 feet of drop in the water source elevation because we created so much storage just upstream of Hart Street. And then as Dan mentioned, it tapered out to about 0 at Route 30. So I think we want to look at where their access is, where the cost benefit is in doing the study. We can certainly come up with the elevation drop, but a lot of that's going to dictate how much excavation can we do and then what the benefits are. And then we'll know what the rough cost is.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sounds like it seems like for those amount of variables, 68,000 seems light to be studied.
You know, Thomas, I have a question. As part of this study, because we're starting to get into more of the densely populated areas, you know, as far as this run is concerned.
Yes.
Are you going to also look at possibilities as far as how we're going to be able to do the work that might be a byproduct of this study, as far as access?
So the access is a critical issue. We were fortunate at the hospital and town hall to have really good access. We've already identified some locations here where we could have potential good access, and other ones that will be more challenging. But that's always a key component on something like this because there's so much excavation that has to happen.
Right, so with all the houses and everything that's going to be kind of put through there, how we're going to be able to get through that and be able to do some of those particular project activities. So, I mean, that would be helpful, and, you know, I'm sure it's not part of the scope, but at least to, you know, give us some idea of how your guys are getting in and out to see whether or not that is really feasible.
Certainly, and that's why we went back to that map. We didn't highlight everywhere that was pink. We don't see potential. So like as we faced in Munster and Hart Ditch, the houses are right up to it, and that's not the case. Certainly along Briar Ridge, they could work in an easement there and do that. But you're right, there are potential areas.
Yeah, there's some houses along there now too, though. So, you know, it's going to be that segment. That's why the issue is going to be kind of important, because how much it's going to go into just getting the back of everybody's yard was fixed, and how far back you dig out. Because, you know, I'm sure they're all going to be happy when that backyards start getting constructionized.
I have one last question, Mr. Chairman. Thomas, can you tell us, sorry, roughly the length of the new proposed project compared to the other one, the section that you finished before?
So the length of what we did before was 1,200 feet, and I believe this is we're looking more like, I think it's 3,500 or 4,000 feet that we're potentially looking at. Not saying that's what we're going to do, but that's the potential.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Thomas, this is Tom W. In the previous one, didn't we take out some houses and things?
Yes. So that's why this cooperative effort. The Lake County Highway Department put in a new bridge at Hart Street, and they acquired 3 houses. That was part of that project, and then the town came in and acquired 5 more houses. So that certainly helped. We weren't going to do it without 3 of the houses being taken. It didn't make sense. So
In this new one that's proposed, we're not proposing to do any of that, right?
Correct. We're not looking at taking any houses. We are looking at potentially one property that the town would acquire that's been development challenged. But there's no houses there.
Any other questions? So this is critical from the standpoint of, working on this, feeder into the Little Cal along Hart ditch and part of the ongoing strategic plan to move from south to north till we get through that. Just being an engineering study, are you guys looking to do that? Ready to start out?
Yes.
I think it has to happen. Is there anything that we have to discuss, or does anybody need to ponder anything as it relates to spending 34 grand to do this engineering work?
You can, if you want. You can do it under doing unfinished business.
If not, if there's nothing else, then thank you.
I don't see a reason for us to wait another month.
I just have one light reservation. I do feel like with the level of variables, it give us additional range, 68,000. This feels like the engineering rates to be a proper study. You're going to 68,000.
It's a friends and family discount, Anthony.
I don't normally get those. A lot of friends or family.
Actually, they're requesting only a portion of that. That's the.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Totally see. That's fine.
I'm interested in what happened as far as it says $68 million fix. That's the issue. Okay, all right, thank you, sir.
I get-
You know what, why don't we just keep him on, see, he's out of town and we've got a storm coming and
Okay.
I don't wanna lose him, so we might as well go
Oh,
to
he does another one? Sure.
Crown Point.
Oh, good idea.
So Are you ready to do that?
Yes, but Chairman Baker, I just want to answer that last question. I want to make sure I was clear that the 68,000 is a conceptual study to say that we can move forward, or here's where we recommend moving forward before a full engineering study is done.
Okay, all right, that's helpful. That makes sense.
We're going to hydraulically model it and do some survey and have answers before we ask, if we want to move forward to a design.
Thank you.
Okay,